Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance beneath the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes of blue. And I'm trying to call to the pleasing of your heartstrings that sway soft and low. Anytime I touch you, you just tremble inside, and I know how much you want me that you can't hide. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come. And I know now the time it is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when you come, my arms will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. Anytime I touch you, you just tremble inside, and I know how much you want me that you can't hide. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Well, I'm gonna make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning has come. And I know now the time it is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when you come, my arms will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will make you my own. Anytime I touch you, you just tremble inside, and I know how much you want me that you can't hide. Can I just have one more romance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? My love, my love. I just want one more moon dance with you.
Hi, good morning. This is Simon from the Simon Says Breakfast Show on a Friday morning. And if you're awake at that time, you're probably waiting for meds and breakfast. So enjoy. We have some special guests this morning. We have the celebrity of Urmston, as we were just talking about, Mr. Wayne Devlin, and his support in every aspect of his life. His lovely wife, Val. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're starting a series called From the Inside Out, and we've done a couple of interviews, one with Richard about his mother who had dementia, and a couple of other people who had health issues that we're trying to recognize so people can talk about them. So the object of our little quote-unquote chat here at the Hotel Trafford General, and I call it that because we give you a bed, we clean the bed, we give you food, we take care of you, and then we kick you out at some point, right, before noon. And we don't want it to call a hospital, really. All right, so for the next few minutes, I'm going to just ask an open-ended question to Wayne and Val, if she is ready to do that. And we're just going to have fun, right? Wayne.
Yes.
You are the Brad Pitt of Urmston. Is that right?
The bald Brad Pitt.
Well, it's got nothing to do with hair. Come on. Where did you come from? Give us an outline of your childhood, if you would, from as early back as you want to around the high school age, and then we'll take a break with some of your music.
Okay, well, I was born here in this hospital, and I grew up here. I lived in Davyhulme. I live now a stone's throw from where I grew up as a child on Broadway. I've lived in Urmston all my life. I have moved off in later years, but I went to Woodhouse School, junior school, where I sang for the first time, leaning on a lamppost.
Cool song.
In a school play.
George.
And then from there I went to Wellacre in Flixton, where I didn't sing because I became a teenager.
And you would have been beaten up.
Yeah.
You'd have been sent down the chicken run a couple of times.
I was quite shy, and there's no way you would get me up on stage again. So, so Urmston born and bred.
When you first sang, was that in a chorus, or was it just you?
Just me. It was a school play, and I think the only reason I did it is because nobody else would do it. And I was stupid enough to put my hand up and say I'd do it.
Okay, so I believe, and anybody that's listened to the show is like, oh, here he goes again. Everything comes at the right time, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't because you were stupid enough to do it. It was because the universe is like, look, you're the only one that can do this, right? So you're going to do it whether you like it or not.
I agree with that. I'm a big believer of that in the universe puts out, well, you put it out there and the universe brings it back to you.
Well, it's just waiting for you, right? It's just allowing you to, the minute you get rid of the adult stuff, the universe is like, oh, this is what you wanted, right? But if you are constantly complaining or saying this, that, and the other, the universe is like, oh, you want bad news? Here's more of it. And then you just allow it to come into you. And, right, Val?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just checking to see if you're still breathing. We are in a hospital after all, so we're good. All right, so you sang Lean on a Lamppost, and do you sing that still today?
No, never sang it since. Just I learned it for that play, and then I sang it, and I had all my little actions of the old leg flick and leaning onto the post, and that was it then once it was done. I loved it, though. I was terrified, but loved it as well.
We were talking before we started to record about singing songs that people can connect to.
Yeah.
And I would get Val to explain that, but she's not going to. So, what a great story. I mean, just hearing the story. How old were you when you sang that?
Maybe
About 8.
7 or 8?
Yeah, something like that. 8 years old, yeah.
Just hearing that story, I'm already connected to you and what is about to be done. I would love to hear that story go into that song. Please. Well, not right now, of course, unless you really want to.
No, thank you.
It's very early on a Sunday morning. Nobody's doing anything.
You can play the CD and sing along.
Well, you and I did have a sing-off when I first came in. I had your first CD, and I had one that I had made, and I put it out there for the audience to vote, and nobody voted. So either nobody won or nobody was listening. Yeah. So 7, 8 years old, you've leant on a lamppost. What in that moment, as that 7-year-old little man, now you look back at it, did it get you to once you'd sung it?
Well, I was a shy little kid, really quiet, wouldn't say boo to a goose. So to do that was, and to be honest, singing now is exactly the same as then, the process. I was terrified. I got out on stage, I started singing, people listened, I finished the song, people clapped. Yeah. And I still, to this day, even though I've sang in Vegas and everywhere, I still have that same, maybe not to the same degree, but the same, just for a fraction of a second. I'm terrified for a second, and then I switch on, and it's gone. But it always reminds me of that one, being an 8-year-old kid singing that.
So the root of, maybe not who you are as a person, but as a performer, certainly, 7, 8 years old, the seed got planted at that age, and so every time you sing and perform now, it's like watering that root, which is probably, the size of an oak tree at this point. Right. Yeah.
Well, I used to sing in the house to myself in my bedroom. I used to sing my head off. And if you want a funny story, I love musicals as well. I don't sing musicals, but I love them. And as a 7, 8 year old kid, I used to watch music, and I used to think that in real life, that's what happened. If a couple had an argument, and then they were gonna, he was gonna storm off or something like that, he'd suddenly burst into song. And as a little kid, I'm looking at mum and dad thinking, they're not singing. Where's the songs going? But I always did that. I sang at home behind closed doors for years.
It is a funny story because obviously you're reliving it in your head, right?
Yeah.
But I used to do the exact same thing. So, which is weird, right? Just to hear it come back, because I thought that I was just going crazy, right? Especially when I went to Disneyland for the first time and there was actually music in the street. I'm like, oh, maybe it is real.
Music has got an answer for everything. And
Absolutely.
As a kid, I connected to that. Whatever emotion you've got, that's why I'm a big Sinatra fan, because nobody put emotion across like he did. And every single emotion you've got, there's a song for it or a piece of music.
So when you went to Wellacre and what happened? Puberty, obviously, and of course you're surrounded by all boys. And did singing take a back seat? And did you go into sport or something else, or did something else take its place, or did you just like clam up because it was teenage years?
Singing never left. It was never public. It was always at home. I'd put the records on and sing at home. At school, I was basically a clown. I was always joking, laughing and joking, and telling jokes and being the entertainer in the class. So it wasn't so much. Although I do enjoy I like writing and things like that in English. I didn't apply myself like I should have done because I was too busy being the entertainer. But it's weird because it's almost like a contrast, because I was very within myself. But then when I had an audience, like the rest of the class, I was quite entertaining and funny. But the singing never came out at school. We were actually there recently, weren't we? We judged a talent show. And the headmistress asked, there's the stage, you must have sang there a few times. Never. I just flat right refused to. Even if my parents said to them, he can sing, and I just wouldn't. Flat right, I refused to.
So when you left school, what happened after Wellacre?
I took every sort of job going, building work, labouring, hod carrying, all sorts, just keep money coming in. And then I started slowly singing, like bands that I knew, just getting up slowly, singing one song. Singing wasn't the main area. It was just something that was a bit of a hobby. I absolutely loved doing it. But the entertaining that I used to do was more in me than the singing. And my ambition then was to be an actor. And that sort of drove me then, taking classes and travelling and taking method acting classes in London, Manchester, over in America. Not the main studios like the Lee Strasberg Theatre Institute, which I'd have loved to have done, but lesser classes, teaching the same methods and principles. And then we fell into the singing again then by accident.
There are no accidents. No accidents. All right, we're going to take a little break and play a couple of songs from Wayne. If you want to hear more of his music, I'm sure you can go to his website.
WayneDevlin.com.
There you go. Of course it is. And not to be mistaken for the other website that you've got.
That's All About Trafford. That's the free community website for what's on in the area.
So, as Wayne just said, it's all about Trafford, at the heart of Trafford, and that's set up for community experiences and advertising. And it's www.allabouttrafford.co.uk. And, of course, you can reach Wayne himself, or at least Val anyway. Devlin bookings at AOL.com if you have some sort of celebration coming up and you need a performer that's been a clown, a singer, a builder. Okay.
A puppet, a pauper, a pirate.
And been all over the world. Wayne is waiting for your call. We'll be right back. Enjoy.
That's life. Yeah, that's what all those people say. You're riding high in April, you're shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune when I'm back on top in June. Now I said that's life. Yeah, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks just stomping on a dream. But I won't let it get me down, 'cause this final world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet and pauper and pirate and poet, that pawn and a king. I've been up, down, over and out, just laying flat on my face. Well, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. That's life, and I can't deny it. All those many times I fought a cut now, this heart it ain't gonna buy it. And if I didn't think it's worth one single try, I'd jump right on that big bird, then I'd fly. I've been a puppet and pauper and pirate and poet, that poet and king. I've been up, down, over and out. I know one thing. Each time I find myself just laying flat on my face. Well, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. That's life, and I can't deny it. All those many times I fought a cut now, my heart it ain't gonna buy it. And if I didn't think it's worth one single try, I'm gonna roll myself up in that big ball and die. Those fingers in my hair, that's like ever stare. It strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft. And I got no defense for it, 'cause that heat, it's too intense for it. So what good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse that need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but that's one I'd never switch. 'Cause there ain't no nicer witch than you. 'Cause it's witchcraft, that crazy witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse that need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. Such an ancient pitch, but that's one I'd never switch. 'Cause there ain't no nicer witch than you. There's no nicer witch than you. Than you.
That aspect of performing, when you go up on a line or a lyric.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why people go to see live performance, right? They want to see how you get out of it.
Yeah, well, that's Frank Sinatra. He never sang the same lyrics. If you ever watch live performances, each performance, he does something slightly different. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview of him in Australia, and he said, how come every time you sing a song, you do something slightly different? And he said, when I'm singing, if you know the words 100%, you're singing along with me. then you're not listening, you're singing. So he said, if I sing something different, you have to shut up and listen to me. And he said, is that why you do it? He said, no, I forget the words and I'm quick at... He said, I'm quick
That's a great answer, though.
Yeah. He said, I often forget them because, I used to sing at the Trafford Centre for 3 hours and without repeating a song. So you have to know all those lyrics for 3 hours worth of songs. And he did that on like a couple of performances a day.
Yeah.
And he used to just trip himself up. But he said he was very quick. He would have been a good rapper because he's very good at rhyming. Yeah. So if there was a lyric he forgot, he would have a word that rhymed with the last one, so it'd all flow and you'd have to just listen.
That is quite a talent. I think he should have stuck to that reasoning. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
But he did only do one take when he recorded, right? That's all. He wouldn't do any more than that.
I've heard different stories. I believe, I know there's a famous story where him and Dean Martin were both in the same studio and Sinatra had been in since 5 a.m. and he'd sang, the name of the song he was doing has gone, but it doesn't matter. And he'd sang it a million times, and not because of his own vocals, but because there might have been, he would hear an instrument that was slightly out or something just wasn't doing it for him, and he would insist on it again. And then Dean Martin would turn up at 11, 12 o'clock lunchtime, just come in, sing it once and walk out again. And Sinatra used to go mad. He said, I've been here since 5 o'clock. He comes in once and gone. So.
The brilliance of Dean Martin for me is not his necessarily his singing voice, but the fact that he used to carry the whiskey glass around with him, but he didn't drink.
Nah.
That's brilliant. How do you get that moment, that little hook, to have people remember you?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
My hook is I'm always punctual, I work hard, I do what I'm asked, and reliable mainly. I don't think there's any substitute for giving it everything you've got, and then whether you get the part or not, you've give everything, you can hold your head up.
Absolutely. So we have moved on, and you've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, and a king at this point, right? And so you said you've travelled around the world.
Yeah.
When did that start to happen, and where did you go first?
I went to New York.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, it's for the acting. To me, the best actors are method actors. You're James Dean, Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. So I got into Stanislavski, method acting, and I learned about Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler, Sanford Meisner. And I thought, if I can learn their system, it would make me stand out here because it's not really mainstream in this country. So when I went over and taking classes to do that, I got up and sang in a bar in New York, and somebody heard me who just happened to be a Sinatra singer who knew Sinatra. He was Nancy Sinatra's favourite Sinatra impersonator, a man called Gary Anthony. And he said, you need to come out to Vegas. And I just thought, yeah. And anyway, I just took the chance and went to Vegas, and he set me up, sang for Wayne Newton at the Flamingo and sang at the Golden Nugget, and singing took over, and that was it.
So you probably saw it at the end of the Hollywood era, where it was probably still a great place to be. All you could eat buffets and that kind of stuff. Safe to walk down the street because you didn't really know who anybody was connected to.
It's not a place that I wouldn't particularly go back. It's not a place I like. I never gamble. I agree with gambling. I like money's hard earned.
Absolutely.
I don't want to part with it.
Yeah.
So I never gambled when I was there, and it's not my sort of place. It can be quite a seedy place, and it's not the sort of thing. But the music scene and the history, to stand on a stage where the Rat Pack would have stood, and things to that, it's both my most favourite place I've ever performed and one of the worst places.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, and I get the personal aspect of it. That for you, the Sinatra and all of that, the Rat Pack is quite a connection. That's good. Yeah. And so, so you've been to New York and you've been to Las Vegas, and where else? Did you go anywhere else after that? Or did you come back?
No, come back here then. I came back here, and I started just singing a bit more, then pushing it with bands I knew, doing a few more things, filling in their breaks. But I got in the press when I come back, and they called me the man that sang with the Rat Pack. Yeah. So they did a little feature on me because I sang in Vegas, and which did me good. But I didn't know how to market that or how to use it. That's where you came in. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. That's where Val came in. You needed to find a marketer and a wife. Did you already know her at that point?
No, we met then. well, a bit after. I don't know. I'm rubbish at
It's
time
probably a
scales.
few years after that
Yeah.
we met.
I wandered around for a bit, not
That sounds like a song.
yeah, but a bit. I wouldn't say lost, just no direction really, and just coasting by, just existing.
Okay, so
and
I'm
not
going
pursuing
to
anything.
interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think that this is, again, my point of view and very personal if you don't want to understand. I think that being lost is a great term. It doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing, don't know where you're going. You're just in a space where, in that ethereal cloud, because you've been going on this road and all of a sudden you've got a fork, right? Vegas brought you to that fork, and then now you're on this path. Where's it going, right?
I was in my waiting area.
Okay.
That's where I was.
Then call it that. Then call it that. Then. And
Yeah.
again, I'm just trying to lead it into some. Look, if you're listening to this, this man has made it to this point and is going, but it didn't happen overnight, right?
That Vegas was the ultimate high, and then the next thing I'm back in Urmston where it all started.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I can't top that. I
Right.
can't. I've started at the top.
Yep.
When you're at the top, the only place to go then is down.
Right.
And like you say, there's the fork in the road.
Yeah. So you've got this fork in the road, and you've been, as you just said, it felt like the top, and at that point, of course, it was right. You went from Urmston, Flixton, to Las Vegas, and how do you really get beyond that when you come back? But the reason you went to the States in the first place was because you felt the acting and the experience and the performing was going to help you when you came back. So now you've loaded, and you're like, I've got everything I need. But you just didn't know how to sell it in this environment, and it is a very, very different environment. And then Val came along.
Yeah.
If we can, maybe touch on a little bit how you met and how did that start?
We met in the local pub, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which pub?
The Bentbrook.
I just went there for the first time last week.
We usually go in there once a year, don't we, on our anniversary?
Oh, nice. Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
I was out with my sister, I think, and a neighbour.
Yeah.
And Wayne came along at the end of the night and started chatting to me. I think you did ask me out, but did you give me your number? And it never happened. I never contacted you. And then I think a month later, I was in again.
Yeah.
And this time you asked me again. So I said to him, I think I gave you my email address. I said, email me 10 reasons why I should come on a date with you. Do you remember?
A great answer.
So,
Mine was a great answer. She asked for 10 reasons, and
well, the emails started coming, and then 10, and then 10 more. And he was emailing me for days. And then we did agree to go on a date.
No, wait a minute. We agreed. He's been waiting all the
I
time.
agreed.
Yeah.
I eventually agreed.
so these 10 reasons, she ended up with about 10,000. Every email
they
came with
kept
another 10
coming.
reasons.
And do you know what? I've kept all those emails.
Nice.
I might have printed them all out. I might put them in an album one day.
That'd be
It'd
very
be
nice.
funny reading back on them.
Yeah.
So that's how we met, and then we eventually did go on our first date.
So if you can, give me 2 reasons.
Gosh.
Imagine if I had them in my bag now.
It just so happens. Do you know what?
Could make a book
I'm
of
blank.
them.
After about 10,000 reasons, I can't think of what I
Well,
put.
some of them were lyrics to songs as well, and it was very romantic.
It had to be lyrics to songs, didn't it?
So it was an email romance at first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you were the real You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a romantic. He just took a really big, deep breath. He's like, oh, no.
No, I'm
We can
not
talk about
ashamed.
boxing if you want, but
No.
so you're romantic.
I was going to say emotional then, but I don't know if that's the right word. But
Is it the right word to you?
I'm not sure. It's just I'm a whole bag of contradictions because I do love boxing. I boxed. I did semi-pro boxing. My dad was a boxer. He taught us from kids how to box. So I don't see that as I'm aggressive. I know how to box, but I am romantic. And there's especially in this day and age, there's a thing where men have to be tough. Men have got to be, and past generations, the war families, and like my dad's generation and all that. The man has to be strong. He has to be tough, and men don't cry and things like that, and don't express themselves or show emotions. And I think it's a shame that they don't, because I do.
Yeah.
And it's
And
okay to.
and I'm not ashamed to be romantic or to be emotional. We lost 2 dogs recently within the space of 3.5 weeks of each other. First one died from old age and illness, and the second one died of a broken heart. 3.5 weeks later, just refused to eat anything, and absolutely devastated. I write my column in the Messenger, and I've told the borough how emotional it was. I'm totally not embarrassed or ashamed to be emotional.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. And I think that anybody listening to this, again, if you've got children that maybe are, well, boys especially, if they're sensitive, and I'm one of those people. So I absolutely agree that if you have children that you feel maybe need a little help and you don't know how to do that, then reach out to somebody. Reach out to Radio Wishing Well, reach out to Wayne, just for a conversation, or at least we might be able to point you in a direction that can get you some help if that's what's maybe bothering you in this moment. And I do think it is the core problem, is on top of reality television and social media. It has become that cane that everybody was afraid of back then, and it just comes down whether you want it to or not. It doesn't matter what you do, what you say, or what you give. Somebody's not going to like it for their own reasons. All right, so we got that you're a romantic, and what would be your biggest go-to romantic setting, scene, evening, or gift for Val here?
Well, this is probably going to make me sound like a cheapskate, but
yeah, no, that made you sound like a cheapskate.
yeah. We're homebirds, and I absolutely love, because I've spent years going out singing in pubs, and I don't do pubs anymore, but I'll do the corporate things. But I started in pubs, and it feels like I've had a lifetime in pubs and things like that, and I just don't enjoy them anymore. I don't like going out to pubs, but I love a bottle of Prosecco, chocolates or whatever, and a film, and just snuggle up on the couch and watch a film, and to me that's bliss. That's a perfect evening.
Love it.
And we do that a lot, don't we?
Love it.
But we do go out. We have dates. We go to the cinema and go for a meal.
Well, you go to the pub once a year.
Oh, yeah, the Bembrook. We have one in there and out again. Yeah.
In fact, maybe you can just get it delivered to the car, so you don't actually have to go in anymore.
Yeah,
you
drive
just drink
through.
it in the car and go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. You're writing all these song lyrics to Val, and there's been 10,000 passed between you, and so she's like, look, if it gets you off my back, we can go on a date.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And so, where was that? You went to you met at Bembroke, but where was the first date?
It was actually a restaurant in the Trafford Centre. I don't even know if it's there now.
Which restaurant was it called?
It was near Est.
I can't remember what it was called.
I don't think it's there now.
No.
But that's where we went anyway.
Oh.
And
Sorry,
then we went to the cinema. I can't remember what we saw.
No. It was quite
It
memorable.
was so
then.
memorable. Don't remember where I went, what I ate, what I saw. I just know he was there, and I needed to get him off my back.
But you know, we do so many things. We are really tight, and we do so much together. It is hard to remember everything.
Yeah.
It's like we can't sit. It takes an hour to find a film to watch, because we've watched so many films together, and so
I don't like watching films more than once, except Rocky or Rambo films.
we just watched all the
Just
Rambos.
watched all the Rambo films.
I am going to see that last one in the theatre, because I haven't seen any of them in the
We're
theatre.
going to do that as well.
Great.
Before
said-
going to see it, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh, you would watch all of them. Good point.
Yeah, because I've not seen any. He said, it's only about 2 weeks ago, we'll watch a nice chick flick tonight. I said, oh, that's nice. What is it? He said, Rambo.
But
I did enjoy them. I did enjoy them.
Romantic. All right, so you've been on this date that nobody remembers, so we don't even know whether it really happened or not. And eventually, how long did it take, if I can ask, before you proposed?
Not
Not long at all, no.
It was probably in the email. She probably didn't read it.
Yeah, I probably missed that.
It was number 8 in the 7th email.
It was this quick. Our first date was Halloween. We were engaged by Christmas and we were married in the July.
Oh, fantastic.
So that was really quick. And we've not been apart ever since, have we?
No.
Do everything together.
I'm in awe that you have that.
But when you mentioned the fork in the road, that's when the path was there, because as soon as I was with Val and she heard about what I'd done in the past, singing and that, and she says, well, what are you doing about it? and then it suddenly became
A horrible question.
instead of well, no, but
Came a bit later on.
it was later on, but it was a case of it just needed I'm artistic, I'm expressive and things like that, but I'm not the business minded. And as soon as Val, who's very business minded, aren't you, quite focused, whereas I'm all over the place, it sort of put blinkers on. Let's focus on that. And the whole idea was when it was just, right, you live in Davyhulme, so let's work in Davyhulme, then Urmston, then Manchester. And we took it one step at a time and just everything was all organised then, wasn't it? It all just seemed to fall into place. And I've always been of the opinion of wherever I want to be, whether it's up there or down there, ask someone. If I don't know, ask somebody who does know. And from doing that, it's a step up, a step up, a step up. And we've done quite well, haven't we? Doing all right.
She is smiling, even though she didn't say yes. She is smiling. All right, we're going to take another break and listen to more of Wayne's music. We'll be right back. Enjoy.
Another summer day has come and gone away in Paris or Rome, but I wanna go home. Maybe surrounded by a million people, I feel all alone, but I wanna go home, 'cause I miss you, you know. And I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you, and each one's a line or two. And fine, baby, how are you? And I would send them, but I know that it's just not enough. My words were cold and flat, and you deserve more than that. Another sunny place, another airplane. I'm lucky, I know. I wanna go home. Won't you let me come home? Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are. I wanna go home. And it feels just like I'm living someone else's life. It's like I just stepped outside when everything was going right. And I know just why you could not come along with me. And this was not your dream, but you always believed in me. Another winter day has come and gone away in either Paris or Rome, and I wanna go home. Won't you let me come home? And I'm surrounded by a million people, I still feel alone. Let me go home. I've got to come home. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are. I wanna go home. Let me go home. It'll all be alright. I'll be home tonight. I'm coming back home. You see a pair of laughing guys Suddenly you're sighing sigh. You're thinking nothing's wrong, you string along, boy, then snap. Those eyes, those sighs, they're part of the tender trap. You're hand in hand beneath the tree, and soon there's music in the breeze. You're acting kind of smart until your heart just goes whack. That breeze, those trees, they're part of the tender trap. Some starry night, when her kisses make you tingle, she'll hold you tight, and then you'll hate yourself for being single. All at once it seems so nice, the folks they're throwing shoes and rice. You hurry to that spot, that's just the dot on that map. You're hooked, you're cooked, you're caught in the tender trap. Some starry night, when her kisses make you tingle, she'll hold you tight, then you'll hate yourself for being single. All at once it seems so nice, the folks they're throwing shoes and rice. You hurry to that spot, that's just the dot on that map. And then you wonder how it all came about. It's too late now, 'cause there's no getting out. You fell in love, and love is the tender trap.
Hey, we're back in, and I hope you're enjoying Wayne's music. We have Wayne and Valerie Devlin in the studio. We're just chatting about life, experiences, fun, maybe not so much fun, although Wayne's doesn't like to talk about not having fun. Right, Wayne?
Well, I would like to add, to go back to what we just said before, it made it sound a little bit like I just got with Val so she can sort my career out. That wasn't the case.
Definitely not.
But I'll say it's an added bonus.
All right, well, let's just go back to that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You've been through the Benbrook. You've sent her 10,000 emails or reasons for why she should go on one date with you. She's like, look, dude, let's just do it. I'm never going to remember where I ate or what I ate or what we watched afterwards. I just know it was at the Trafford Centre somewhere. And you probably told her that I sang there on that stage. I sang there on that stage all the time. You probably gave her that story, right?
No, I don't think I did I?
No, I didn't know you was a singer at first.
Oh, that's right.
I might not have gone out with you.
Brilliant.
Do you know singers can get a bad rep because they think you're up on stage and you've got an audience out there and they think you're a singer. As soon as you finish, you're going to be down there mixing with all the women and all that. Totally not me. I finished singing and poof, gone. I've done what I'm supposed to do.
It's a job.
It's a job, yeah. And that's a very good point, actually. It's the other thing. People think you're a singer, you're a free-for-all, and, flick of a switch, sing us a song. We've been to parties, haven't we, where I'm not working or anything. We're just invited to a party, and as soon as I get there, you're going to sing. And to me, it's like a job. It's like you wouldn't invite a plumber to your party and then say, well, you're here, just do us a new bathroom. Do you know what I mean? I treat it as a job.
Might.
Yeah. So
I wish you were a plumber. Our sink's leaking at the moment.
yeah,
Along with the cabinet that's crooked.
yeah.
Crooked bathroom.
DIY is not my strong point. But so singers can have a bad rep, and I think to me personally, it's very much a job. It's a job that when you pay for a singer, you're paying for them years of experience, of training, of practicing, the rehearsals, the hours that's put into it. the wife who has to listen to the same song a million times. It can be a bad rep for singers to stand up there, and then people think there are singers who do milk it, and they'll sing, and then they'll go down into the audience, and they'll want all the single women coming round them and all that, and that's not me. I want to do my job. Even before I was married, when I was single, sing, go.
Well, it goes back to your own reputation, is that you want to be reliable, professional, and quality.
Yeah.
Right.
Tony Bennett, he said he spent years singing in clubs, getting bottles thrown at the stage. And it's quite similar to some of the places I've sang over the years. And, remember the residential care home we did, the old lady? Yeah. And sat as close as we are now, I'm singing here, and there's like an arch semicircle of all the residents sat in front of me. And at the end of every single, like New York, big finish, hold a note as long as I can, practice for years. I've got this perfect now. It's a big crowd pleasing, big note. And I finish the song, hit the last note, and the old lady in front of me goes, at the end of every single song. There. But what Tony Bennett was getting at there was, you have to go through that, and that's how you learn your craft. You have to. If you don't experience those things, you don't get stage tough, if you like. Tony Bennett said, overnight success takes about 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my singing is where it is, and I'm quite happy with that. And it's never going to go any further than it is. Okay. I do the corporate scenes, I do the charity events, and I haven't got any ambition to take the singing further than that. I do what I do. To me, it's the acting, my first love, before what I originally started planning to do, and that's what's secretly, quietly behind the scenes. That's what's going on. I'm auditioning all the time. I'm constantly applying for roles. So that's where I want to be. And again, it's the same sort of process. The amount of auditions, you're too tall, or wrong colour skin, or whatever it is. It's a similar process, but I'm not prepared to put everything into that and go through all them rejections and then recall, like when I got the Paddy Power commercial, the whole process, the audition, the second audition, the callback, the wardrobe, everything, and right up until the last minute, anything could have gone wrong, and somebody else could have took the role. So I don't want to do that with the singing and the acting.
Right.
So to me, the singing is what I've just been asked to do the Christmas lights again in Urmston. So I've got that. I've got a couple of charity events coming up.
Yeah.
But I haven't actively pursued singing for a long time now, have I? I can't remember when I last I just don't.
Yeah.
To me, the acting is where I want to be, and that's what I'm focusing on.
Good to know that choice, though, right? Internally,
yeah.
to know that this is the direction. You've got to another fork, and this is where you want to go.
Yeah, well, what you were saying before about the universe, I'm a big believer in all that. And we sort of did that with the Paddy Power commercial. I wanted something where I'm down, even no matter how small the role was. I don't know if you saw it, the Rodri Giggs commercial for Paddy Power. It was in all the press and everything all about it. That process, I really applied that, like law of attraction, if you like.
Yeah.
And it worked even to the point where I didn't know where I have to travel to or anything. And I'm saying, I want this. This will be close to home, sort of thing. And it was filmed in the Garrick in Flixton.
Oh.
and it just everything.
I was there with my Google route planner for when the location came.
Yeah.
And it was the Garrick.
Yeah.
Your destination is 2 minutes away.
Yeah. I mean, I walked there in literally 10 minutes. I was, oh, you're really? I was like, yeah, I only live across the way.
So that was recently, though. So within last year.
Last year. When was it? This start of the year?
Yeah.
Start of the year.
This year?
Yeah.
Because I remember somebody saying there was something being shot at the Garrick, and 41 was all lit up with it.
Yeah, that was it. That was the Paddy Power commercial, and they changed the name to the Prince of Wales there on the pub. But that commercial's now been banned. It's gone. The fact is, I did it, and it put me in front of a casting director who's very well respected, he sent for me again, and
the producer.
And the producer, he did the Full Monty. That's where I want to be with it, and it's like everything, you got to do it in baby steps.
Sure.
And build up, like I've done with the singing. I have to build up the professionalism. I need casting directors and directors to know that I'm serious and I'm professional.
You've done your years of background work, haven't you? But you have to stop that to then become an actor. You can't do the both.
Yeah, but even before that, I took a job making with crew, making the sets. So I've done it from really the ground up. So I worked on a crew. We used to make the sets for Question of Sport and go around different places, putting theatre sets up. to learn my way around a set properly, to learn terminology. So I'm at home on the set. Then I did the background for a bit to learn on-camera side of it. Not the acting, but the physical hitting your marks. And now the acting side of it.
So what would be your, not necessarily shelved the singing, because that will always be part of who you are, but now you're going into the acting side of things, what would be your ultimate role where you could say, I've done this now, I can retire? What would it be?
Well, firstly, I don't even want the word retire in there. It's just to work professional. A long-term role is a dream because then it's a long-term career. Yep. It's and obviously the finances that come with that. Yep. That would be the goal, but I don't know, a soap would be ideal. But just to work, just to do it, to get on
You've
screen.
You've always fancied a gritty drama, haven't you, as well?
Yeah,
Show that
always
side
the bad guy.
Yeah.
Always go for the bad guy.
Yeah. But if I was casting something where I'm playing a complete psychopath, I'd like to play the next role, something completely a priest or something complete opposite. Yeah. So you're not typecast. But if I get typecast, as long as it keeps work coming in,
well,
so be it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's not a particular dream role, but just to work and to do it, and it's the whole process of the expression of it. I love the whole, especially because I like the method acting as well. You get a script and putting yourself in that character, but the emotional side of it, and especially if you're using method acting, of using personal experiences. And I interview in my column, Wayne's World in the Messenger. Every now and again, I do a celebrity interview, and I spoke to Karen Henthorne, and she's one of our best method actors in this country. She was just doing a play called Tinned Up. We didn't really do the interview because we started talking about method acting at the start, and it just went on for ages discussing it. We didn't even touch the interview. And she was saying about personal losses in her family. She had to do a scene, and she just completely relived and then held it all back. And then when she's doing the scene, the emotion's so raw, it's seeping out, and that's what happens in real life. You have an emotion, you hold it back. You don't just let everything pour out, and you hold it back, and what seeps through is natural. And I love that. So
you're in a perfect place, really, because you are an emotional person. We established that in the beginning, right? And you are now going to get to use all of those emotions and experiences in the form of characterization. And I get that feeling. It is a great feeling that you can be these other people.
Yeah.
And so in your own life, you can be you.
Yeah.
Right?
Because despite what people might think, I'm an extremely private person. I know I've got the column in the paper, I've got the websites and social media, but what's out there is what I want people to see about what I'm doing and what I'm up to. And of course, you need people to see that so that they can get involved. But once like I say, if I finish singing, I come off the stage, I go home. We've been, I met Tom Hardy on Peaky Blinders, and everyone's, oh, you met Tom Hardy, and it's amazing. I finished talking to him. I spoke to Val on the phone. I said, I've just spoke to Tom Hardy. She went, oh, I'm washing the pots. But I come home, and in the evening, cheese on toast, put the telly on. Yeah. And that's I love that. I'm quite a private person. People don't know that. They think I'm into all the show business, and
they do now.
Yeah, but that's, maybe it's a good thing, because I'm not this flamboyant extra. On stage, you have to be, but I'm quite private, and I keep things very close to my chest. And so same with acting. If I was suddenly thrust in a massive role that everybody knew who I was, and I would still treat that exactly as I treat the singing and everything else in my life. I'd do it as a job. Then I go home and
wouldn't change you.
No, and have me cheese on toast and watch telly.
Love it.
With your onesie on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went to put it on this morning and I realised I don't own one. But it's on the Christmas list.
Thank God.
I'm going to jump around a little bit. We're going to come back to Val.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. And so, Val, you met this young man many years ago. He pestered you for a date. And you didn't know he was a singer, so you thought he had a real job.
Yeah.
Right? And what drew you to him as you got to know him?
I can't say I don't know, can I? Well...
Not like the first date, no.
I think obviously physical attraction, but other than that as well, I think his honesty, his loyalty, he's got quite old-fashioned values, you know, fiercely loyal, and sometimes when you meet someone there's a bit of game playing going on, there's none of that. He gives you absolutely 100%, and he also expects 100%, and I liked that.
Good answer.
Yeah, was that a good answer?
All right, well, you think that was a good answer. Wayne?
Do you know what? In all honesty, when I first met her, when I saw her across the way, before I looked up the corridor, because I am not the sort of person who would go across the room.
That did surprise me when she said that. Like,
yeah. But I just don't. But I knew it, and I even said, I'm going to marry her. And on that day...
To your friend, didn't you?
Yeah, I turned and said,
that years later.
I'm going to marry her. And I did. But I just...
Not that night, though.
No.
Well, no, I think he did
not
that
far
night.
off. Yeah. But it is because I was single for years because I didn't have the confidence to... I'm quite a closed person, sort of, sometimes. And I just wouldn't go across to someone. And if I saw someone who I fancied, I thought, well, they're not going to like me, so I won't waste my time. Mm-hmm. And I just wouldn't do it. But I just risked everything and just thought, I want her, I'm going to marry her. And I did, I went for it.
What is it that you've learned about Val in the years that you've been together that maybe you saw in the beginning and has just gotten bigger, better, bolder, stronger for you as a connection?
Well, without sounding really cheesy, when you hear people say, you know, like, my partner completes me, and you hear that expression all the time, and I've heard it over the years and thought, what are you talking about? But that's exactly what happens. It was almost like I wasn't a complete person myself, whether you want to call it broken or whatever you want to call it. But as soon as I met Val and got with Val, everything, like you say, was aligned. I became a better person. And I've never met anyone stronger. I've met fighting men, things like that, who you think this is a different kind of strength that makes them look like wimps. There's a strength in Val which is almost magnetic for me, and she is a real strong woman, and she's proved it over the years with things that we've done and been through, and that you just know you've got that solid backbone there.
I realized when I asked that question that it crossed over your line of privacy, and that's why you answered it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to re-ask the question: if Val was a song lyric, what would it be?
Moonlight in Vermont. And the reason I say that is because that's the first song of Sinatra's I ever heard when I was a little kid, on an old scratchy LP. It wasn't a brilliant recording of it because of the age of the LP, but that song made me fall completely in love with that style of music, with Sinatra's diction, phrasing, timings. That's the song that nailed it for me as a kid, and I become 100% in love with Rat Pack, Sinatra, that genre of music. So that's exactly there you go.
Pennies in a stream, falling leaves a sycamore, moonlight in Vermont. I see finger waves, ski trails on a mountainside, snow light in Vermont, telegraph cables, they sing down the highway and travel each bend in the road. People who meet in this romantic setting are so hypnotized by the lovely summer breeze, warbling of a meadowlark, moonlight in Vermont. Telegraph cables, how they sing down the highway, and they travel each bend in the road. People who meet in this romantic setting are so hypnotized by the summer breeze, the warbling of a meadowlark, moonlight in Vermont, moonlight in Vermont, moonlight in
I would like to say, because everybody knows me for doing charity work, I've done loads of charity stuff over the years. They probably don't know that Val organises it all. Because I'm the front man, I get all the credit for it all. I'm very lucky I've been presented with different awards. I know, but I say the modesty, she doesn't mind, but she doesn't want people to know it. Because I'm the front man, she's quite happy with that. But she picks the charity we support. She organises me, she does my set list, what songs will flow and work better. Like we were talking off air about, I never used to do crowd-pleasing songs like New York, New York, Mac the Knife. I always try to educate an audience with songs they might not have known or heard before. And sometimes it falls on deaf ears because they want songs, and Val rejigged everything and give me a set list now that not only the audience enjoy, but I actually enjoy doing, and changes it as well to keep it fresh so I don't get bored with it either doing the same thing. She organises all that. Also, on top of that, people don't know that I've raised money for charity. I say I've raised as the front man, but with Val behind me. But Val's also, we were trying to figure out roughly, I'm not sure on the exact figure because you don't always get to find out, do you? But Val does a small, I know she works for the NHS, but she also has a little ribbon printing business called Message on a Ribbon, and she's donated lapel ribbons and things like that for charity. So everyone buys a ribbon, so there's 200 guests, there's £200. And she's done that for all kinds of charities, haven't you? I sang for Kim Marsh at the Archie's Footprint Ball at the Hilton, and Val donated the ribbons, and they made a fortune with them. People, like you say, £1 each, but people were putting £10, £20 in and taking a ribbon. You got in OK magazine for that, didn't you?
Well, I didn't, but my ribbons were in them. I design them and print them, whatever they want on them.
Yeah.
So she's done quite a lot, and people don't know what she does. They just think, oh, Wayne. I've been, the Sale Rotary Club have invited me there at the end of this month, is it? To present me with a community award, which I've gratefully accepted, which I'm going to a presentation evening. But again, I share that with Val because all the charity stuff I do is all, everyone just thinks of me because I'm the singer at the front,
Right.
but it's all Val as well with the organising and planning and actually choosing the charity.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and play some more of Wayne's music, but we are coming back to Val. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk more about ribbons and charity work and all the work she does behind the scenes to make Wayne shine even more than he was shining before he chased her down and tackled her. Enjoy.
Now let me tell you that for once in my life, I have someone who needs me, someone I've needed so long. For once, unafraid, I can go where life leads me. I'm not alone anymore. For once I can touch what my heart used to dream of long before I knew that someone warm like you, someone could make my dreams come true. I said for once in my life I won't let sorrow hurt me, not like it's hurt me before. For once, unafraid, I can go where life leads me. I'm not alone anymore. For once I can say this is mine, you can't take it. As long as I know I've got love, I'm gonna make it. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. At least for once I can say this is mine, you can't take it. As long as I know I've got love, I'm gonna make it. For once in my life, I have someone, yeah. For once in my life, I found someone. For once in my life, I have someone who needs me. And I love you so. People ask me how I live till now. I tell them I don't know. I guess they understand how lonely life can be. But life began again the day you took my hand. And yes, I know how lonely life can be. Those shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. But I won't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around me, and you love me too. Your thoughts are just for me. You set my spirit free. I'm happy that you do. The book of life is brief, and once the page is read, all but life is dead. Well, that is my belief. And yes, I know how lonely life can be. Those shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. But I won't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around
All right, we're back. I hope you're enjoying our conversation with Wayne and Valerie Devlin. I keep calling you Valerie, I don't know why.
My mum used to call me that.
No, well, you're not in trouble, Val.
My Sunday name.
I don't know why I did that. All right, we're going to talk about, we're coming back in to talk about ribbons, charity events, and the work that Val does behind the scenes. Because as everybody knows, the front man gets all the attention. And as Wayne has openly explained, he wouldn't be where he is today if it wasn't for Val, both professionally and emotionally.
True.
He's giving me that look. He's like, don't go there, dude. Val, I know you don't like to talk, so you can nod, or maybe you can work Wayne from the back and he can give the explanation. How did you come up with the idea of the ribbons, and where did it get started, and why do you do it?
Well, I've always liked doing crafts. As soon as I could write, my mum gave me knitting needles at the same time. So I love creating things. Although I'm no good at art, I didn't do art at school. And then I just set up about 3 years ago. I was off work for a while, and I just came up with the idea of printing ribbons and creating things. Because I've been a typist for like over 20 years for the NHS. So to me, ribbon printing is like creative typing. So that's kind of how I came across it. And then more recently, I've realised I could use it to raise some money. So I've donated loads of ribbons for different causes. I think the latest one was the NHS party in the park. Yeah. I think I made them 200 ribbons. I asked them what they'd like and I designed them and that. And then they went round selling them, so a donation of £1 each, but some were putting £5 in. I think someone gave us £20. So they raised well over £200 that day. So it's just, and people seem to like to wear them, and I know a few people that keep them all as well. Yeah. So that's sort of how that came about.
Well, I think the British public, more than most of the world, maybe a generic statement, but very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously because of the wars and where the country has come from and where it's going to, if we even know that. I'd just like to point out to anybody that's listening to this chat that we're having with Val, that she is one of the workers here at Trafford General Hospital, a.k.a. Hotel Trafford General. So she has been around the NHS for about 20 years, if not more.
Yeah, over 20 years, yeah.
And so if you are a guest here at the Hotel Trafford General, just know that she is happily typing away all that scrawl that your doctor's written out, and she's had to figure out what they're actually saying, and probably made it sound a lot better than it was when it was written down in doctor's handwriting. So not only she's helping this young man right here get where he's going to, she's also helping get you the correct meds by writing it all out longhand. So obviously charity work is a big thing, and I'm not sure I'm going to get any more information out of you for that. But what about Wayne? What is it that you do for him? We know that there's going to be a list as long as your arm. Well, all three of our arms put together, probably. What is it you do? When he came to you and said, "Will you marry me?" Yes.
Yeah.
Now, can you help me do this? Or did you say, "Look, this is what I think you should do"?
I think it was more that came a bit later, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it just sort of happened. It wasn't a conscious
it was just a natural progression, wasn't it?
It's the odd, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that? Why don't you do that? And
I always say that
subliminal approach, I like it.
Yeah. I always say that I only do what any wife would do.
Yeah.
Supporting a husband.
It's worth noting that as well. It's not just the business side of things and the charity side of things, the singing, the acting, everything. She's also a wife, a mother, and we've got a home to run. And as you know about my DIY, that applies to the kitchen as well. I'm useless in the kitchen as well. So Val, she doesn't just run, she runs the home. She's the heart of the home. So
Like most wives.
yeah, but also you're also taking on all my, as well as your own career, your own home. You've took on mine and doing mine as well. So
Yeah.
there's it's we often joke. I never wanted to write a job description down because there's not a piece of paper long enough.
It would beat your 10,000 reasons for
Yeah,
going on a
and
date.
some, yeah.
I had a bit of a moment there myself in that your explanation when you talk about Val takes it to a different, deeper level to me. That's what I'm experiencing. And I know that when I accosted you in the street a few weeks ago to try and set this up, you said it was very important that Val got to tell her story because she does, quote unquote, all the work. And so since Val is very quiet, she's shrinking as we speak. Give us a little bit of background in how you feel about what she does.
The first thing I'd say was anybody who's, I can only speak from the entertainment business, anybody who's involved, whether you're a singer, an actor, or any sort of entertainer, going at that on your own is a mammoth task. There's a million people out there who want that. Having Val makes all the difference for me, and in my opinion, it puts me ahead of a lot of people because I've got that behind me with Val. And like I say, as if you want to say, as an artist, you're constantly looking at a million things and you're going off in all these different tangents. And Val's good at reining it in and saying, right, let's focus on this, let's do this. Then we can have a look at that. And you need that. There are people I've seen that are doing a million things and failing at them because they're not giving it 100% on that. We're not allowing time to work on that and plan that and organise it and make it a success. They're going off on them while they're doing that, think, oh, that as well, and they're going over that direction, and then they're darting over there. It needs someone. If you're like me and you're flying all over the place, you need someone to rein that in and say, there's your focus, let's do that.
Right.
And that's Val's an artist at doing that. It's two sides to a coin, and you need both sides to make the full coin. And I think that's what we've got. Is I'll be the tails, don't worry. You can be the heads.
If there was one thing that you would like to say to Val in this moment for what she does for you, what would it be?
There isn't a words. There's actions speak louder than words, and that's what I try and do every single day. Saying thank you isn't enough because I can sit here and tell you what she does all day long. It still won't touch exactly what she does. There's unspoken things that just she's there.
Right.
And I'm avoiding your question.
Touche. I know. So I get it. I understand. And if I'm pushing, then I certainly apologise. I'm not looking for anything. But don't think I won't ask again before the end.
The summer wind came blowing in from across that sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walked with me. All summer long we sang a song and then we strolled that golden sand. Two sweethearts and the summer wind, like painted kites, those days and nights they went flying by. The world was new beneath a blue umbrella sky. Then softer than a piper man, one day it called to you. I lost you to the summer wind. Now the autumn wind and the winter wind, they have come and gone. Still the days, those lone Guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never end? My fickle friend, the summer wind, the summer wind, one summer wind, the summer wind.
No, it is really hard because I am a really private person, and I was on who was it? Was it Sweeney? No, Filtro, on BBC Radio Manchester, and it's hard because I am private, and he's asking me questions, and in my head I'm just barriers up, but you can't have radio silence, and it's always difficult for me. And if this was just me and Val talking, it would be a completely different thing. But because it's recorded,
you wouldn't shut me up then.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, as a young man, you sang, you went into boxing, and how did those things structure your life, and how do you think it could help people who could possibly be going through something similar?
Yeah, wasn't like a professional boxer or anything like that. Nowhere near that standard. My dad taught me to box as a kid, as self-defense, to stop bullying, basically. And it does give you confidence. It gives you, I call it a quiet confidence, because you know that you can look after yourself, but then you don't need to do it because you know you're quite capable. And it's weird. If someone's being bullied, the natural instinct is to run away from it. When you know how to defend yourself, you don't run away, you walk away. And there's a big difference. And it did that for me. It allowed me to just walk away from situations that I know if I'd have turned round, I've then become the bully. And there was a big difference. So I went from being bullied to saying, I can just walk away from this and just walk off a duck's back. If I wanted to, I could do some serious damage, but I'm not going to do. So well, the question was, what advice would I give?
Well, I was just letting you go because all of a sudden you went emotional. I'm like, don't say anything, don't say anything. Yeah, how do you think, did you have children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grown up now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there's a story for you.
What?
Yeah, making an appointment for Matt.
Oh,
Too personal.
No, it's just making a fool of me, that's all. Go on.
okay, a funny story about Wayne.
Yeah.
He was out shopping, he'd nipped for some milk or something, and he remembered that our son needed a dental appointment. So he walked in and said, I'd like to make an appointment for my son, please. And there was an awkward silence and a few odd looks at Wayne. And he's thinking, what's going on? Eventually, the receptionist said, is your son a cat or a dog? Oh. And he'd walked into the vet instead of the dentist.
Went to the vet next door to the dentist.
That is brilliant.
There you go.
And they are next door, but one to each other. And he's used to going in, because obviously we used to take our dogs to that vet, and he'd just...
That is fantastic.
Anyway, back to your boxing.
Yeah, so back to the boxing. Yeah, so I think boxing especially gives you this quiet confidence. And although I don't agree with violence, I love boxing. I love watching boxing. But there's other ways of solving problems without fighting. But doing boxing teaches you great discipline and respect for people. I think there should be a boxing club in every town. It would solve a lot of problems. In towns. It's great discipline for kids, and it uses up all their energy and teaches them real good self-respect. So I love boxing for that reason.
I was just thinking that to me, boxing is not about fighting, and I don't know a lot about it outside of Rocky, of course, but it's quite poetic. I mean, it's just like a stage performance. It's all prepped, right?
Yeah.
Stage 1 is this, 2, 3, until it's over, if you can make that shorter or longer, whatever. So what I'm getting from what you're saying is that it doesn't have to be boxing. It could be cooking. It could be something that gives you that feeling of strength, which will help you walk away, which I love the statement of you don't run away, you walk away, that it could be anything that would give you that feeling to know that despite what the other person is doing, saying, or trying to do to you, then there's always a fork in the road. Yeah. And you just got to see it and make that choice. It may not be your ultimate destination, but when you get to the other fork, then you can come back to wherever you were. Just for you, it happened to be boxing in that moment to give you the mental, because I think physical was taken care of when you grew, right?
Yeah,
You're a big guy, right? So, but I think that's the message in the series that we try to do is how do we promote ourselves as human beings without fighting, whether that's physically or verbally or mentally, and it could be anything, whether it's boxing, cooking, gardening.
Again, it's like Val said before when she very kindly complimented me. I've got old-fashioned morals, and I think and respect, and I think that's. I've actually written a piece. I've not done anything with it yet. But, about it's called the Gentleman's Code, and I think it's being a gentleman and showing respect, manners, dressing appropriately, and things like that. I love all that. If it was up to me, I'd get up in the morning, put a suit on, waistcoat, tie, everything. I love it. And actually being a gentleman, and in this, it sounds easy to be a gentleman, but in this day and age, it's not. There's so many things with equality. People are offended by certain things. You can't say this, you can't say that. So being a gentleman, I mean, I've wrote about this and said holding a door open for a lady, and the lady says, "I don't need a man to open the door for me."
Yeah.
And things like that.
Right.
Giving a seat to somebody, and I'm not dead yet. I don't, sit down.
Yeah.
So it can be hard to be a gentleman, but I think if you put the effort in and be respectful, you're showing by dressing properly, by acting properly, you're showing the world that you take yourself seriously and professionally, and that you're taking other people seriously and professionally. And I think that's something I'd love to pass on to anyone who wants to listen. That having good morals and good respect. An example of that is Hollyoaks. When I was on there, I was just doing a role. I was supposed to be a patient, so I'm there and I've got pajamas and dressing gown. And there was a young lad carrying 2 trays, and he was leapfrogging, putting them on the windowsill, then going through doors, putting it down, going back, getting the next tray. So I saw him struggling, so I went and got the other tray with him and helped him carry him through like anybody decent would. And then we put it through in this room, and I went back, and then they called for me and shouted me, and I thought it was be my patient role. And the director who was there said to me, "Have I got any other clothes with me?" I said, "Yeah, I've got a suit, I've got this, that, and the other." He said, "Stick your suit on, you're now Dr. Pemberton." The lad with the tray was his son.
Oh, wow.
That he was teaching the trade, and he wanted him to start from the bottom up, so he's starting off as a tea boy. And he said, everybody's watched him struggle and just left him. He said, "You got up and helped him." He said, "I'll reward you, you've got a bigger role." So through being polite and using good respect and morals, it opened a door for me. And I think if you can be like that in all walks of life, it can only benefit you.
You're not getting emotional there, are you, Wayne?
No.
I'm the same way. Now, I dress like this because I just found out how comfortable these pants are. But like you, even though I'm wearing on my website, it used to say, even though I'm wearing a T-shirt and jeans, which I live in, I feel like I am dressed from the 1940s, which is where I like to be, like late 40s, early 50s, and that elegant side of things. I love that. It's very hard to be a gentleman. What a great title. So I just love the whole process of that. I mean, we're actually walking very similar paths. And I'm getting emotional. No, just kidding.
Do you know, I heard someone, it's a funny story, there was a young mother with a pushchair with a kid in, and the mother said something and the kid went, "Eh?" And she went, "It's not A, it's what?" I said, yeah. And I stood there and I said, "It's not what, it's pardon." Singing helps with that, doesn't it? Because when the diction, and singing's a big. There's another one. Every child should be taught boxing and singing. Do you know? There is a connection for me personally, because many years ago, would have been, I'm not sure, 50s or 60s, my dad, who's from Northern Ireland, so had a Newry accent. He went to London, and there was a famous singing teacher called Arnold Rose. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. And he was quite famous at the time, and people like Tom Jones would go and... Anyway, he was having singing lessons there, and he said something to him along the lines of, if you can get in a ring and box against one person, you can get on the stage and sing in front of 1,000. And that was the connection with my dad, with the boxing and the singing.
You're so full of great quotes that I hope that we can pull them out of this and you can use them. I guess everything that I've been trying to ask, poorly apparently, just put your walls up. But you talking about whatever makes you tick is giving me the information that certainly I would want to hear as a human being, and to know that, you know, no matter what you do or where you go, it's about who you are, how you treat others, and, you know, getting there is just a distance. It's not a speed, right?
Yeah, you've got there, but you've not been on a journey. You've just
right.
Yeah.
And truly, I think that we have lived parallel lives, actually. Just know that you are not alone in your struggle, as I now know I'm not alone in mine. If you ever need to be emotional, talk to Val. I wish you all the best in everything you do. I hope the acting career explodes for you.
So do I.
And I hope Val can retire from her 20-plus years in the NHS and go have her nails done every day and wear the fake fur, I assume, right? And while you are busting your butt, as we say, on set, and
fingers crossed.
In a good way.
Law of attraction. I put it all out. It's got to all come back. Again, that's another reason for charity. I recommend everyone does charity work because it is a great feeling, and it makes you grateful for what you've got when you're raising funds for people who've got. I'm not rich by any means, but I've been able to use the singing to raise money, like you've used the ribbons to raise money, and it is a great feeling. And although I've had people say, would you not rather have had all that money for yourself and sing and get paid for it for yourself rather than... And of course, it'd be great to have it in your bank. But the feeling you get from doing that and you putting all that out there as well, they're good. And it comes back and it's nice. It's nice to be nice.
Giving is so much better than receiving. I agree. I mean, if we can't give, then what are we doing? Yeah. Right?
It came back in an unexpected way last year as well. Out of the blue, we got an invitation, didn't we, to the Queen's Garden party.
Oh, nice. We didn't talk about... How did that not get spoken about? So you got an invitation to the Queen's Garden party?
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Last year
we went and had...
Well, Wayne got... both our names were on the envelope, but it was because of Wayne.
No, it wasn't.
Well, because
it wasn't.
Because of fundraising and doing positive things for the community, all that. We've no idea how it came about or how you get nominated, but it was a surprise.
Strange letter on the doorstep.
And we went, and it was amazing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's
totally unexpected.
Where was it? In Buckingham
Palace?
On the lawn?
Yeah. So you go in through the front, go through a couple of rooms in the palace, which was amazing just to see those two rooms, and then out onto a big veranda, then down on the lawn, and there's bands playing, and he even played Sinatra for us, didn't he?
They were playing swing.
That is an attention to detail, even, that it goes beyond, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. That's, apart from my wedding day, that's right up there. That's never forget that day.
Yeah.
Because it's just Wayne from Urmston. What's he doing in Buckingham Palace? It's,
And we saw the Queen and Prince Andrew and Prince Edward were there, weren't they?
Yeah.
Sophie.
We got we sent off everything. We got the DVD of the day that they do, and we got the big framed photograph of me and Val stood in front of the palace on the lawn. And
the invitations.
The invitations
framed.
in it, yeah. Beautiful day.
That's fantastic. I'm just going to say it again, that you are so humble that Wayne from Urmston, what's he doing at Buckingham Palace? That's exactly why you went to Buckingham Palace, right? It's been a pleasure to talk to you both. I mean, the calmness that you both exude, especially as a unit, is something that I know that I strive to achieve. And I hope that massive things come both your ways. And that it will be available on Facebook and, of course, right here at the Hotel Trafford General. And so everybody will know who Val is. Well, those people that don't know who Val is must be brand new to Urmston and what she has done for Wayne. And Wayne, it is nice to see a reflection of a life that I have certainly lived and know that it is possible to get there. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting us.
Ciao. Oh, let's listen to more of Wayne. Yeah, let's do more Wayne. Let's Wayne it. Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Wayne's World. Say something, Wayne.
Wayne's World.
Perfect.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spat it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it